Hey everybody, Jake here from Clinetimephotography, and welcome back. Hopefully you all have had terrific holidays. The year is finally officially coming to an end. But enough about that. So I recently had an announcement from our last video, if perhaps you remembered if you've been following the channel. That announcement has officially come. I am now a brand ambassadorship with Triggercontrollers. Yes! No, I'm just kidding. These guys are awesome. I love these guys. They've been super cool. A lot of people, which brings me to my next question. A lot of people think I got this for free. I did not get this for free. I paid for this with my own money. And I did a lot of research on these systems before I purchased this. And some of those reasons that we'll actually go through in this video as I'm talking about setting this thing up, because we're going to put it in the truck and get it all ready to go. Trigger controllers, they also have a lot of other stuff. They've got Bluetooth relays. They've also got mounting brackets for a lot of different vehicles, which is really nice. Makes these very universal. And now that I'm also brand ambassador with them, that means discounts for you guys and anybody else that might be following the channel, which is obviously really good for you. So currently right now, if you type in this code, you guys will get a discount on some of the trigger controller system stuff, which is obviously always good. I always try and give a little bit back to the viewers as much as I can, and you guys supporting the channel and everything like that helps to kind of give you all that good stuff. So, and hopefully you guys are going to buy some of this once I talk about like the setup and everything like that. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff regarding this. Let's see here. So yeah, with that being said, let's dive right into it. Alright, so let's see what we got in here. Open this up. Ooh, important, please read. Recommend wire yellow power on to switch to ignition. We'll talk about that in a sec. I'm going to kind of have my own idea for that. Ooh, we got lots of nice little connectors. These are all the labels, it looks like, too, and more additional instructions for our switch system, which is right here. So this guy, you can actually wire up, hardwire into the controller with their supplied wires, or you can do the batteries, which are right here, and have it be wireless. My thought process on this is I'm going to hardwire this in because I can just control the system through my phone, so I can just leave this hardwired in. So that's going to be my plan as far as how I'm going to do this. And then here it is. Ooh, shiny. Love getting new toys. So here is the trigger accessory controller, 6-shooter. That's what it looks like. These are our different circuits. We have our two 30 amp circuits, 10 amp circuits, and then our two 5 amp circuits. Then over here we have our yellow wire that we're talking about. This is what's going to turn it on. So this right here is the 100 amp fuse. So one thing I will make sure that I do is pick up a couple of these fuses and make sure I have a couple backups just in case I ever blow this. I highly doubt I'm ever going to blow this fuse, but it's always good to have spares. But yeah, this is our hot. And then of course we have here is our negative. And then let's see here. We also have our wires as well for, like I was previously mentioning, hardwiring this in, which we're going to do. And currently for our lights, we're using that ER Technologies touchpad controller. It's worked good. I've had it for a couple years. I haven't had any problems with it, but like I stated previously, we wanted something that's going to give us a little bit more use. So the plan is I'm probably going to end up having to kind of change around some of where some of this goes. I'm still kind of playing around with that idea. But we have our center console here. And then in the back here, we did a rear seat delete, as you guys all know, with our Dometic fridge. And here's where it's going to get very interesting. We have a lot going on back here. I mean, we have our solar stuff. We have our Blue Sea MLACR switch. We have an inverter. We have, you know, switch disconnect fuse. I'm sorry, I think this is a 200 amp fuse for our fuse block. We have a fuse block in here, low voltage disconnect, dual battery. So we have a lot of stuff going on here. So it's going to be interesting to get this in there. So this is probably one of those things where it's really nice if you're able to put a system like this in, and if you already kind of don't have anything already set up, it'll make it a little bit easier. But fortunately, we already kind of knew that I was going to do something like that, so I kind of already had a spot kind of cleared up for it. So this is going to be where it's going to go, and then of course it's right next to the battery. And then the other thing too was here in this spot, it's away from the radio and everything like that as well. So you don't want these, according to the instructions, you don't want these next very close to your radio. You want to keep them as far away as possible. So that's one of the best ways that we can do that, is that way they're nice and far away. So, yep, let's get to it. Alrighty, so that fits in there real nice and snug. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is secure it. I got some 3/4 inch drywall screws. I'm just going to screw it right down to the wood, and I think that'll work out perfectly. Okay, and here we go. So we have our screws all tightened in, 3/4 inch screws. Our positive is hooked up to this is our dual battery system. So this is our auxiliary battery actually that we're going to be running off of. And then over here we have our negative as well. And then next thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to need to attach this. I'm going to attach this to one of the switches up front that's control all of our electronics and everything. And then we'll tell this when to turn on. Basically what I did was I tied that wire into this circuit right here. This circuit could basically, the only thing it does now is I tied a couple other things into it, is provide power to the our switches up here, which these guys, this comes off. If you are installing this and for whatever reason you're not getting power to this after you install the wiring to this, try flipping this, because it is the orientation does matter. I had it flipped the other way and I wasn't getting power, and then as soon as I flipped it and turned this around, it works now because it's attached by magnets. Coming back to this, so I tied that into this guy, and then also tied in that yellow wire that you guys saw earlier. That's a control wire. So basically now, once I turn this on, it turns this on, activates this, activates my gauge, and then also activates the system in the back. And then I also changed all this as well. So before you saw this is what the panel looked like. Now this is what it looks like now. So I moved my charging ports for my phones and stuff like that down here, and then added obviously the switches up here, and then this is the auxiliary battery voltage, and then over here is our starter battery voltage. Alright, so I also went ahead and tied in my rear chase lights, make sure everything's working the proper way. So I put those as number 5. So what you can do, what I really like on this, is you can test it on here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Okay, and the app is working good. Perfect. So let's do a little messing around with it. Let's test out our flasher, because these are the chase lights. I really want to make sure they can flash if they need to. Alright, so let's go ahead and test our system and make sure everything's working. So we go ahead and already download the Trigger Plus app. So we're going to go ahead and open that up right now. We have select your trigger device, so we have the 6-shooter controller. So we went ahead and selected that. So right down here we have our chase lights. So let's go ahead and turn those on and try out our flash. See how they work. Alrighty, and flashers are working perfect. That's exactly what I wanted right there. Okay, so we went ahead and checked those out. Those worked really good. So let's go ahead and actually let's go over some of the other cool stuff that's actually on this app. Let me show you guys around. So here we have top right hand corner, we have our voltage. We're at 12.5 volts. Here you can also control with the slider the amount of lighting that you have. So you can actually dim your lights if you want to do that. Bottom right hand corner, we have our settings, so we can edit our accessory names. So that's all these guys right up here, light bar, whatever names that you want to use. You can set your switch function to either toggle or momentary. You can adjust your backlight color for your switch panel that you install, so you can adjust that. You can only set the backlight color though if you hardwire it in. I don't believe that you can set your backlight color if you just use the batteries. They also give you some instructions here as well. Let's see here. You also can, this is one of my favorite functions, is you can also keep track of your battery status. So you can set a low voltage alert. So I have my low voltage alert set 12.4, letting you know, hey, I need to charge up my batteries. And then also I set a low voltage cutoff of 12 volts, so that way the controller system will automatically shut off if my battery starts getting too low. And yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. Freaking awesome little app right here. Lots of really good features. I'm really excited to start using this. All right, so now we're back in the garage. I want to talk about a few other things. One of them being the fact that the trigger controller system is just completely, it's ready to go right out of the box. So all the relays, fuses, everything's already incorporated into the system. So I was actually able to get rid of some of my relays and a bunch of additional wiring that I no longer needed, which is super huge because obviously you saw with our system, we have a lot of stuff going on. So I was really able to go in there and kind of clean out some of the wiring, because some of that stuff was actually some of my initial wiring when I first got into it. And I'm still trying to just kind of clean everything up and make everything look nice and tidy. So I was able to do that, and that was really incredible to be able to do and take a lot of that stuff out. Second thing I want to talk about as well is make sure you guys, if you're installing this, that you're using the correct diameter wiring harness for whichever circuit. So obviously use the larger diameter wires for your larger circuits, 30 amp circuits, and then you use the smaller diameter for your smaller 5 amp circuits. Another thing, the big huge selling point for us was our Bluetooth capability. We all talked about this earlier, right? So I wanted to run a little test to see how much draw I would have if I left the system on. I did some calculations that, unfortunately, combined with the fridge, because I wasn't able to isolate it, was about 0.5 amps for the entire night with both of them combined. So that is huge, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to just have the system ready to go at a moment's notice with minimal draw, because I wanted to be able to, that was the only big reason, be able to turn the lights on if I heard something outside or anything like that, just take out my phone and just click the lights on and be able to see what was going on. So awesome. Perfect. Perfect for our use. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is a huge one, I know, for everybody out there, is the price. So currently, this system is being sold for $380.97. If you look at a system similar to this, you're talking $700 to even $1,000 for something that basically does all the same things. That is insane. I am a person who I'm doing this as a hobby, and I want the best bang for my buck. So I really want to make sure that I'm getting something that's going to be good quality, obviously last a while, because you guys all know I'm all about functionality and reliability. That's always been my go-to. And so far, this is the best thing that I've come to find. Um, with that being said, please go check out Trigger Controllers. Check out some of their cool stuff. They got the 6-shooter, they got the 4-shooter, they've got the Bluetooth relay. So if you already have a really full system built and you just need some Bluetooth functionality, you guys can do that option as well. Go check them out. See what they got. Maybe they have something that you guys are looking for. And of course, use the discount code if you guys can. With that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.